Hello everyone, I'm the Alan. Welcome to Rhythm in Africa. So in this episode we're talking about the music history of the Zulu. Let's roll the intro. So whenever you hear the word Zulu, the next thing that probably comes into your mind is the great warrior Shaka Zulu. So this is important because fighting was a very important thing to the Zulu, and this influenced their culture, which influenced their music. So they had war dances. So the purpose of these war dances was to teach the young about the war things that used to happen in the war and the greatness of the warriors of the past. So they would reenact the past battle scenes in a musical performance kind of way, and then people would understand what used to happen in the wars. So they also had battle cries. So the purpose of this was to excite the warriors so they're enthusiastic to go to battle, and also it served as an intimidation tactic so that in case the enemies decide not to fight because of that, they would have avoided confrontation, because confrontation is always more expensive. But even if the enemies didn't run away, they would still be enthusiastic to fight. So they also had praise poetry. So the point of this was to have a poetic way of affirming your lineage and your family, and this is very important in like the future of music, of Zulu music, like in Maskandi or in Afro Rock or in Kwaito, where they put these praise poetry on top, and it also influences hip hop, like modern hip hop. We'll get into all those in future episodes. Okay, so the next thing is sex education. So this is a hard topic for a lot of parents to this day, but the Zulu understood this back then. So they had puberty ceremonies. So in these puberty ceremonies, they would sing songs with lyrics that would teach the girls something. Because remember, back then there were no schools, there was no writing in Africa. So the way the girls would learn about marriage and what to expect in marriage and about sex and things like that was through these puberty ceremonies, where they would sing these songs and then they would memorize these lyrics and then they would learn these things. And then weddings were a big deal back then. They would last up to 3 days. So it wouldn't be like two people just fall in love and then they decide to get married. No, it wouldn't work like that. The whole family would get involved, because marriage wasn't just a contract between two people, but between clans. Because they wouldn't take your word for it that, oh, my partner is good, my partner is going to take care of me. They want to make sure that the partner will take care of you. So they had performances at the wedding. So in the performances, there would be important things like showing agility. So they would dance in these movements and jumping around so that they can show that I am healthy. See, I can even jump this high. And they also had complicated synchronized dancing that they did to show that on top of being able to jump high because of our health, we also have time to practice these things. So the point of this was to show that we actually can take care of your child. So the other thing they would do was to ask for something. Like they would have these poems to ask for something from the other family, or to make promises and stuff. And also to thank them for raising the child. So fast forward 100 years or so, around the 1920s and 30s saw the rise of male a cappella music. So like Black Mambazo, you know Black Mambazo, right? So this music was usually male because the husbands would leave their wives and kids back at home and travel to Joburg and Durban, and they would live in hostels. So they would start losing their identity and they wouldn't have ways to have fun. So they held these singing competitions. They had nothing at all, so they had to use their voices to sing. So there we go, male a cappella music. And it was popularized by Wimboe, the Lion, Steve's Tonight. I'm sure you know that song. So the missionaries came and they built schools and they banned certain Zulu dances because They said they were either too violent or too sexual. So the Zulu kids went around this by using their new shoes. They had shoes and they were so excited about them because they would have a percussive sound that's louder than bare feet. So they'd use these shoes to make dances. And fast forward more, these children were grown-ups and they were working at the mines and docks where they got Gumboot swelling tones. And Gumboot swelling tones were even better because they make even more sound and they're even more percussive. So they stomped, slapped, and clapped along with these shoes to make intricate percussive sounds. So that's where Gumboot's dancing came from. I'm going to make an episode and explain more about Gumboot's dancing. It's going to be fun. So we're learning the music history of different ethnic groups because they were in different environments and these environments gave them certain beliefs which influenced their culture, and their culture influenced their music. So we're going to learn more about more different kinds of ethnic groups, and it's going to be interesting. So subscribe so that you don't miss any next episodes, and I'll see you next week. Boom!